There's who, Dennis?
Celia, do you hear me?
Hi, Judy. Yep, I can hear you. It
Yeah,
should.
well, I'm glad you started because I was trying to start it from my end and boy, it was not working. So I'm glad you
Well,
did.
I'm
Thank you so
glad
much.
We have no
It's
picture.
working, and I just started the recording, so
All right,
it
so
should
it's
be good to go.
All right, thank you so much for
Yes,
doing
of
that,
course.
Celia. You're the best. Bye-bye.
No problem.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
evening.
Oh, we don't have an image here. Are you feeling better? Yeah, I think it was your back that was bothering you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's.
Okay.
Not.
Are you, yeah?
I am. Am I able to sit in on the?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I don't know what's
We have
going.
seats around the
He
end.
said push.
Somebody was there.
Celia,
There's two there. There's one.
Celia,
Yes.
are you still there?
I'm still
I'm
here
pushing power and nothing's coming up.
for the projector.
Yeah.
It does. It's an old projector. It takes a couple of minutes to warm
Oh.
up. It will take 2 or 3 minutes
Yourself on
before.
record.
Be sure I've got this camera too. It's like, remember last time the camera wasn't really good, so. Hi, everybody. Erica, hello.
I was going to send you a message.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Here, let me move my junk.
You can't get it,
Thank you. I'm having fun. This was a new buy from Value Village. I was like, I knew I wanted to get a skirt, but I couldn't find one that I was super happy with until this one popped up. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want.
so let me see why that should come on by now. Said, yeah, should have come on.
You have no ASL, do you?
That would be true, but I've got it.
Watch your cord.
Worked out.
My first
Okay, how do you do?
my first semester of last semester, I started.
I don't know where Kristen is.
Where'd you get those?
How that stuff.
I printed them at home.
Oh, you're so good.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
It's not coming on, Celia.
They have her copies of the agenda.
Well, I am stuck in traffic, but I can get myself turned around to come back if need be.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm hitting there. I hear you on the phone. Should I turn the phone off but it's just not coming on, the projector's not coming on.
If the projector is not turning on, then it's just the projector itself. It was working not too long ago. I tested it this morning and it was on. So I can get myself turned around and come back if that would make it easier.
Well, I'm waiting
to
I hate for you to have to do that. Let me see, let me see if I can get Shannon to come in. Let me see if I can get Shannon to come in and just take a look at it. Okay.
It is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it's getting rid of people. Trying to figure out where translate it from English.
So my understanding is,
It's not.
this is what,
I
hang on a second.
people assume that sign language is.
It's not.
Projector
They
going.
don't talk about it.
She said to push this button and it's just not going.
This is gonna be the new, we just wanted this added.
I got her here, Celia, so hold on. I want you to have to turn around. And just,
Am I pointing it at?
do you point at what, at the camera or at the log tech?
I'm adding.
If you're using the white Epson remote, you should be pointing it at the Epson that is in the ceiling to turn it on.
Seems kind of like that. Like, you know,
Point
necessarily.
here, and then we have over here too.
Sometimes you have to point it up there.
It's,
Signs that will be there for.
Yeah, okay.
Be sure it's plugged in good, you know?
And you got an X there.
that means I have changed, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a change to that, a change to that. So, because I've always used my work.
And that goes to
We just see you, we just can't get the projector.
I think we're gonna
This
get-
ought to be an interesting experience.
I asked her.
Can't get the projector. What's going on? Hold on just a second. You can't get the projector on, so we'll just.
Here, I'm gonna put it to the side of that first. You gotta climb up or? Oh. Well, I'm wondering why the camera's flashing over there.
Well, that's the projector right there.
I know, but I'm trying to see if I can get it from this side to get it to work. Cause I see the lights on. I don't know why.
The light's on, it just won't come on. Is there any way other than that button to turn it on?
Is the battery?
No, I mean, you can press the button on the machine itself. It's connected through the ceiling to, it's like
That's what I
hardwired in,
thought, it's
so.
on here. Yeah, we tried it this morning. It was working, of course.
Yeah, so it
But then
was where
the
I
computer
can
changes
come
the-
back.
so then
I'm
it
only at
changes the
Old
settings,
Seward
right?
because the
Once you're
traffic's
stuck.
been so bad. So I can be back in like 5 minutes to. try to
Okay,
finish
I'm
getting
sorry to
stuff.
have to have
No,
you do
that's all
that.
right.
I
No
don't know what else
worries.
to do. other than-
Apologies to those.
Because the
group.
power's
I
on,
will
I
be
just-
there
Yeah, the
shortly.
power's on, it's just not projecting. You don't know. so.
Yeah, without being there, it's hard to diagnose.
Well, we can turn the lights off anyway.
All the plugs.
Turn some- Yeah, yeah, we had it, we practiced it all before today. I don't know what's going on.
If you hadn't, it would have worked, right?
Well, of course, we had everything working up until it's the projector on.
It always goes.
Somebody told me about your.
Oh, and here's, Chrissy, we did run some,
Told me about your dress.
Chrissy, here's- we
Distinctly.
did run some.
Let's see.
Oh, her name was Sarah.
You have, you guys have one?
Oh, I do. I don't.
I've been cutting fish all day. Best dress.
No food? I had some. What is it? Judy, what's wrong with the spicy one? I know you usually pick.
I don't like the spicy one, but I don't know which one I said, don't get all those spicy we can't eat. Okay, Celia's gonna turn around and come back.
So the only one we don't affect is
That's
Alice.
why.
I didn't hear from Alice, no, I heard from Deb, she said to me, she's got it.
Deb was excused and
Yeah.
Denali was gonna be remote, but we have no video, so I don't know.
Well,
Here.
I'm so sorry.
No, no. Just.
But I can hear you, Denali, if you're the only one on, we can at least hear
I would
you.
have if my printer bed.
We'll have to wait until
Okay.
she gets back to get the projector going.
I have one copy.
Said I'm the only person that's
No,
on.
I got minutes.
So far, you're the only one wanting in, yeah.
I see two other people in here with me.
Oh, do you? I don't see them asking to get in.
I need a better.
Are they already in the room
I'm trying to look.
online?
Celia.
Yeah.
Shannon, Christine Nelson, no, they're not, I don't think they were on here. I know there's someone
Denali.
requested to join. Some of these may be old in this meeting, others invited.
Everything's in the world of law enforcement.
Do you know why the
Hey,
cameras?
you know, I'll see them come on if they want on.
Yeah.
Judy, do we have a fishing moment?
I worked out in Quinton. Pled guilty. You got-
Not tonight.
Okay.
What's that?
Not today.
How many years? 99 years.
Well, unless Celia wants to, Celia's got to come back.
Pressure.
Because this isn't working, so she can do one, but, well, there's Alice. Okay, Alice, thank you.
Alice.
Alice got you on, Alice, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, start. Was, kind of stalked the village. The village really helped with that.
We just got a lot out, or on vacation, like Elizabeth, I was gonna ask her, Elizabeth's she left today, she's gonna be gone for 2 days, so. A lot of people out right now.
Hard time, this is why we usually don't.
Yeah, I don't have it July, yeah, there's a lot of people out.
So the roll call then. Everybody.
We have Alice and Denali are on. We can't, Alice, we cannot, she's gonna come back to get the projector. I apologize, but you're gonna have to just be on the Zoom and
Is Nancy
maybe
there?
Teams.
Nancy's here.
Nancy's here.
So why don't we call to order at 5:34?
Okay.
on those comments. I
I'm
am
gonna
actually
turn
the
it up.
last person I know who wears a watch.
Now 05:35. Or 17:35, 5:35.
I'm not going to do a formal land acknowledgement, except to acknowledge that we are happily on the traditional lands of the United Athabascan people, and we respect their heritage and their efforts for justice in this and other places. Roll call. I'll give that to you to do. Can you speak?
Deb Bronson is excused. Dennis?
Here.
Nancy is here. Barb?
Here.
Alice? She's
Here.
Thank you.
Oh, we can hear you good too.
Yeah, we can hear her. Doug?
Here.
Christie?
Yes, ma'am.
Denali?
Here.
Here.
Got it.
Super.
We do have a forum.
Thank you very much. Anybody want to share what they've been reading?
After finishing Gentleman in Moscow, I read Lincoln Highway, and I just finished the Rules of Civility. So I think I finished the trilogy.
Yeah, no,
The A.M.R. Tolls, yeah.
Well, I will share, actually, Deb and I are exchanging email, and she revealed that she too is reading Lincoln Highway
Uh-huh.
and the Mayfair Bookshop. I told her, hadn't read Mayfair, but I really liked Lincoln Highway too, and pretty much everything else he writes. Currently, I am reading Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I totally recommend
There
it.
you are.
I love it.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I have you on my agenda.
Finished, partially finished La Gwen. It's a French Canadian work, and I finished Ian Toll's
Well, I didn't-
Twilight.
My-
Twilight,
It's a book on World War II.
Absolutely.
I like the Pacific.
did you write Bloodlands by any chance? Bloodlands?
I've seen it, but I haven't read
It's, I don't recommend reading it right before you go to bed. It's a very good book, but it's pretty scary. Hitler, Stalin, that's good.
Hi, everyone. This is Alice. I'm reading The Coddling of the American Mind by Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt. So far, it's really good.
I love him.
I'm reading Because I Didn't Use the Time War by let's see, Max Gladstone and Amal El-Motar.
Thank you.
The Three Body Problem by Susan Liu.
Heard of that one too.
Okay.
You recommend it?
Good series.
Oh, my goodness.
That is-
I'm still working on The Dark Forest, but
That's amazing.
it is a very different take on First Contact.
It is. Super good.
I'd be interested in that one too.
There's another really good one called Seven Eves, which is
Another great book.
the moon explodes
Yeah,
and
like-
all that's left of
Like
humanity is.
page 5, that's how the whole thing starts.
Yeah, no, page 1.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, that's right. And you never find out really why. Yeah.
But it's really great because all that's left of humanity is these 7 women, and they reconstruct a totally different society, and it's a wonderful book.
Who's the other?
Ooh.
I could look that up. I have.
It's the same guy who wrote Cryptonomicon.
Seven Eves. Oh, gosh.
I can't think of his name. Steven something.
Is it Neil Stevens?
Yes,
Yep.
that's it. Love him.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, let us move on to 2 separate approvals. Let's take the agenda first. I have a few changes. Denali asked me to do a debrief about the special assembly session that happened a week or so ago. And I'm willing to do that and happy to do that. And so I would like to add that to the agenda after the mission moment. That works. And I'm going to cross out the mission moment because we don't have one. So it's another adjustment to the agenda.
Okay.
And a person named Moses Buckledge.
Can you guys hear? I'm sorry. In here, okay.
There was a younger gentleman here about 20 minutes ago, but I didn't catch his name.
Okay, well, I'm going to add Moses Bakulich to the persons to be heard. He requested that last week, and if he's here at that point, that we get, then we'll call on him.
We'll go see if he's waiting in the lobby.
Okay, it'll be a while, but. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have?
I'm sorry, here, she's trying to get the.
I'm going to pause while things happen here.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
say that he
Yeah.
couldn't come.
Okay. I guess.
I don't know. It never fails, does it?
My health decided to die at the worst possible time.
But it looks
I
like.
think Denali has her hand up.
You have power.
I was gonna say, it's got power.
Yeah.
And we're introducing,
Yeah.
we have guests in the room and we are trying to get names into the minutes.
And also get the
Projector,
projector working.
Yes, so we're on pause for a moment.
technical difficulties, please stand by.
ANIN, Charlie Alpha, November. India, November.
Thank you.
Oscar.
This is her friend, so he won't be.
What's your-
My first name's already in there. Last name's
Say that he had
Yes, I.
something came up, he could text her that.
In there because you got that.
Uh-huh.
I'm Erica, ARIKA.
Okay.
Last name Mercer, MTLR.
Played out.
Anything else? Excuse me, sir? Hello?
Hey, we can see you guys now, in case you were wondering.
Oh, you can see us? We're not on the projector, but you really see us, okay?
Nikki Chewbacca, Chief Human Resources Officer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chewbacca, I think the last time I saw you, you had a mask on, so I didn't recognize you.
That's funny.
So, sorry to interrupt. It would appear that our projector has decided today, of all days, to die, even though we tested it this morning. We do have a spare, but it's obviously a not great thing. The folks joining you from online can see into the room. So that is a great way if they can see us now at least. So next month, I believe you guys are on break. But the next time, you might be in Kirkland, you might be here, but we'll have it all worked out by the next time. Sorry about all this, but they
Yeah,
can see you
thank
now
you
at
for
least.
coming
now.
back, yeah.
Everybody should be able to hear fairly well. Sorry, guys, you know.
That's okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for at least so they can see some point,
Thank you so
okay?
much.
Of course, have a good meeting.
And it sounded like somebody had.
Okay, did I hear that Denali had a comment, question?
Denali, did you hear? I don't know if she can hear, yes.
I was just gonna ask for an update on the camera coming on, but we can see you guys now.
Okay, and we can, those of us for whom the Judy's laptop is turned can see you too, but I'm not sure everybody can.
Yeah, well, we can. Maybe push back a little bit.
We can hear you guys.
We can hear you good,
Just
so it
fine.
may just be.
Okay. Are we set?
And did you say that Barbara's not here? Is that?
I'm here.
Oh, it's Barbara. Okay, it's Nancy that's not here.
I'm here.
Nancy, that's nice. Okay, Barbara and Nancy. I know. See, I don't recognize with your faces or somebody.
Deb is not here.
Deb,
Alice
okay.
and Denali are joining us remotely.
Okay.
So the only person is excused is Devin, the other two no one do.
Yep.
That's correct.
And currently, Madam Chair, on the floor was a revision to the agenda to add a debrief of the special assembly session in lieu of the mission moment and adding Moses Bakulich as a person to be heard. So do you need a motion to approve the agenda as
I'm just checking to
revised?
make sure that's all we need to do with that. Yeah. Is there a motion to accept the revisions to the agenda?
I so move to accept the revisions to the agenda.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Okay, minutes. I received, so regarding minutes, which I'm sure you've all had a chance to look at. I received a note from Deb by email yesterday. She had some comments about two sections of minutes. And she and I passed a few notes back and forth. And so I will direct you to under May 15 memo to mayor. Look at it. Does everybody have copies of these things? Do we not?
I think before that, do you want to talk about this?
It's okay. I'm going to find that.
We have copies. Everybody was sent copies of the minutes.
Okay.
Right, we don't,
Judy, I think it'll be important in future. I know we get these in email, but not everybody has printers. So,
okay, well, who did, yeah, because I've not ever known us to, I always thought we just did the agendas. I didn't know we did minutes also, so.
yeah, well, and the director's report too, I don't have with me because I don't.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah, it's quite a bit of,
So
this one was quite, about 16 pages to print today, so,
exactly what.
yeah, I'll see if I can find somebody to do that.
Look, it's okay.
Yeah,
We don't
thank
need to
you.
do it right now, but I'm saying in future, let's
Yeah.
have copies.
That- I
Okay.
think so it can be sent electronically, not doing it.
Okay, third bullet under May 15 memo to mayor. As I said, Deb Ross and I talked back and forth, and I asked her the following language to add to the third bullet, and she accepted that version. And so for that particular part of the minutes, I can add that with for acceptance, but she said that was it. And I'll read it into the record, and Nancy, I'll give you a copy.
I copied it from your email, but
Okay.
in case there's a change, yes.
Okay, as far as I know, this is it. Final sentence in the current minutes is a further objection was made to the memo's paragraph regarding staff response to requests for vacant position information. The addition after that sentence is Ms. Dodson felt that staff had in fact been responsive to requests for information regarding staff vacancies. She also did not think that vacancies were being kept unfilled intentionally. So that's her accepted language for that. And then another question came up around announcements earlier in the minutes. When there was a short discussion about Library Advisory Board member Travis Goularty, I asked, did anybody inform him? He was no longer a member. My notes said that he responded, I don't know. Deb thought that somebody said, yes, a letter was sent to him.
That's what I thought I said. I thought I didn't say I didn't know. I thought I had been informed by, that he had, by Bryce, because he asked for the role and that he had tried to contact him.
Okay,
So that's, I said that.
okay, so I didn't hear
Yeah.
that. I'm happy to add that. Actually, if that
I mean,
was.
I didn't know whether, I just know that he'd been contacted. I didn't know what he said or what, I just need that.
And
that's
toward
all.
that end, if I may interject, that room arrangement was very difficult for me to hear what was going on at the other end of the
It
room.
was
So
hard.
if I ask you to repeat today, it's so that I get it in the minutes accurately, and I do apologize in advance. Thank you.
And I'll say one more thing about that. Because since I couldn't hear too well, and there were these questions about what was said and what was not said in the room, I actually went into our website, the Library Advisory Board website, to review the video. And it was 9.5 minutes of us chatting before the meeting ever started. So
And then there was part missing, wasn't there?
there was
I don't know what
nothing
happened.
after that at
I
all.
don't know what
So
happened.
I would really, I guess I'll request to you, because I don't know who else to ask. I think that needs to be taken down. It's not a record of the meeting. What my guess is, because I've done this in other situations, is that it was running and whoever was going to start the video at the start of the meeting hit it, but turned it off at that point.
Could have been, yeah, that was because Jacob
Sounds
was.
like it was, they tested it.
Yeah,
and then-
because-
Then when
And
they
then,
thought they went to record it. they
Yeah,
actually
because
shut it down.
Jacob was there and he's pretty good at remembering to do that. And he's the one that started the recording.
yeah,
So
anyway, somebody made a mistake.
yeah, I will
Right
have
now,
it taken down.
I appreciate that because it's embarrassing.
Actually,
To think that that was me. Okay, thank you very much, Judy. I would like
And that's an overall.
So what would you like the new wording to be in bullet number 2 then, under announcements regarding Travis?
Would you like to give us the sentence for that, Judy?
Yeah, I just know that I had a brief discussion with Bryce, we might could call him, but I know that he asked for the attendance because he had heard that Travis had not been attending. I know he attempted to contact him and said he sent a letter. That's what I would think. I believe that's what I was told by him. It was in the middle of a day, and I don't think that, I've not heard that he ever heard back from Travis. Because we just wondered what happened to him. And he did have 3 unexcused absences.
So I have so leaving in place the first part of the sentence, when asked if anyone had communicated with Travis about his apparently vacated board position, Ms. Elledge believed that Travis was informed by letter.
Yes,
Okay.
that's good enough. Like I said, because
Okay.
I just know that, I don't know what Bryce,
Very
you
good.
could contact him and he could tell you what happened.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'll add that. Thank you.
Okay, so with those 2 changes, can I hear a motion to accept the amended minutes? From a board member?
I'll move to accept the amended minutes.
There's a second?
I'll second it.
Appreciate it. Okay, the minutes stand as amended. Is Moses,
You know, I thought I saw an email here from him at the last minute. Not sure where no, I thought I did. No, I haven't.
okay, well, in lieu of that, are these guests
Okay.
here to be the persons to be here for this time? Okay, that's fine. Going to invite you.
Thank you. Thank you if there's time.
Okay, so as far as I know, there are no persons to be heard.
Is there anybody online?
Is there anybody? Yeah, no, that's just Denali and Alice is the only people I see online that have asked to come in.
I think it says there's 1 meeting guest.
But he doesn't, he's asked, I can't get him in and he's not asked to come in. He's not in the waiting room. I don't know where that's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually they will, it says admit you're in the waiting room and joined. So I don't know where that's from, but I can't get him up, get up whoever it is. Alice Glenn. That's you. That's you, Alice. That's
That's me.
for some reason. You're there twice.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why.
Judy, what platform are you using? Zoom or?
Teams, we have to use Teams here for this. Yeah, I know. No, whether you Zoom. We have to use
I
Teams.
despise it.
Yeah, I do. I despise, I like apples too. I don't like it. PC.
So would you like to walk us through the director's report?
Yes, I will do that very quickly. I did send that out. And I just did want to, a couple of things I did want to highlight. We did receive word that there were 2 library requests in the legislature that was approved. One was for I believe it was 2.5 million. I believe that's how much it was for the downtown library. And the other was a request by Representative Liz Snyder to make upgrades to the Muldoon Library. And then I think that request for the Muldoon was, from my understanding, because I did a little investigation, because I didn't know it was being requested, is that it was a request from several years ago, kind of a wish list, and it had not been pursued because the Muldoon location is leased and not owned by MOA. So we can't do it was like 1.4 million. We can't do upgrades to something, a building we don't own. So, and we are currently awaiting the governor's list of vetoes to see if either one or both are approved. And I've not heard anything yet. And I do receive a monthly update from Sammy Brown on the downtown library. And this committee's moving rapidly forward. And they're including this pretty much, I think, the new library and the new multi-million-dollar downtown revitalization plan. So we think that downtown library fit comfortably. I've had a lot of questions about open positions, and I apologize. In the past, I really took the time. It took some time to go back and actually do a report on how many open positions that we've had, most certainly since that were vacant when we came in July 2021. And I wasn't here until September, but I did try to go back and look at all the open positions. And what we did get is that, and I'm still working on the actual details, but they're changing daily. We did have a hiring freeze that was put in July 2021. So all of the jobs that were open at that time, we had to write justifications and they had to be approved. And I've been pretty blessed the fact that I could get most approved because I didn't ask for one that I didn't think we really did need. I really looked at it because our numbers are coming back up, but we're not at the pre-pandemic numbers that we were before. And so when I began in September 2021, there were 19 total vacancies. And a bunch of those were holdovers from 2021. My understanding with discussing it with like Elizabeth and some of those have been vacant for a long time. And they've just never been filled. I don't know why they're just still there. They actually didn't think that they were ever going to put another person in that position, but it's still on our chart as being open. And so let's see. So there were 19 vacancies. Since my arrival, we've had an additional 4 vacancies, 22 total. And as of today, when that report was written last week, we have either hired or in the process of hiring 18 of those positions. The director and assistant director are included in these numbers, but those are being done above my head. So, and we have hired we did count because we have hired the director position. And so right now there are 4 vacancies that have not been approved for hire. One of those vacancies I got approved today in tech services, well, this week, and Nikki signed it because we have a huge amount of orders coming in and only 2 people. And so I begged and pleaded and looked pitiful and Nikki signed it in tech services. That is the back end where everything that comes into this library, every material is received and out. So I've asked for that. We're going to be hiring for that one. And right now we're in the process. We hired somebody for we hired somebody for the 18-hour in-use services librarian. We hired for we hired the library 3 in adult services, and we just hired what we call the on-call librarians in adult services. That all got hired. They did the interviews. We're in the process of interviewing others. I know that we have Linda Klein's position coming up. We hired a collections 1 librarian. So we've been pretty busy on that. And but the other, like I said, the other 3, I'm waiting till we kind of calm down on these others, and then I'm going to look at those very closely again. And one of those will be in Eagle River talking to Nancy. So as soon as we get these other ones, at least out of we can only have so many people absent doing interviews, and it's kind of short. So one of the things that I did get though, because I asked, because one of the questions was, have we always had a huge turnover? And the library has always had a large vacancy rate because of all the part-time positions we have. I think the other people that are like we are is Parks and Recs. They have we probably have 2 of the biggest vacancy rates, I think, in the city. And so as far as our vacancy rate being higher than normal, I cut and paste this from HR when I asked them that question. And it says the library's decline in headcount is not anomaly when viewed in the context of the MOA-wide decline in headcount. During this time period, MOA-wide accession rate trended downward while the separation rate trended upward, thus precipitating the headcount decline. Bottom line, the library is mirroring the trends we see MOA-wide. So that was good to know. I didn't know that until I got that. And then the second, I explained the closing at Lusac. It was something that we had talked about. without going into a lot of detail, it was, before I came, it was part of the 5% budget request. Actually, as I said in here, I think Shannon and Jacob both suggested that because Sammy was the director at that time. And so during the second round, they were looking for budget cuts, and I said, we want to close. We don't want to lose any people. We want to close, we prefer to close on Sunday. And the mayor didn't want to have to do that unless he absolutely had to. And then, but in early May, I had two of my managers tell me that they could not work on Sundays. They couldn't work and they couldn't cover Sundays after May 15th. So we just felt it was a better use of our resources to close on Sundays, enabling those people to work during open hours, and it has helped the other shortages that we might have had. And one of the other things is this is the first, we have been closed on Sundays before, and I found that out in my research because I did not know, and we had. So for right now, that is what we're going with, and it seems to be streaming. It seems to be doing pretty well. There's some people I'm sure they're not unhappy, but there's going to be people who are unhappy about a lot of things. So that's just basically all. I had some tidbits just about the current cafe. The old agreement had expired in 2020 and she had not been under contract or paying. So we got that done. Recent flood in the Beluga room. So we're going to have to use this room for the assembly nights and others. And so that's why we're going to do all staff and board meetings and the assembly here in this room because that's been closed. And seniors days are taking a break. We're going to be doing gardening with the senior center this month. And I'm really excited. I'm going to go to that on the 22nd. And then this is, we have had all of those teacups underneath those cabinets locked up, and I found them. And we had two sweet ladies that were looking for volunteering for their church. And so they have been taking pictures, and I received 100 and something pictures on my, it was, anyway, thanks Celia. Thanks a lot because she's helping me get them on the thumb drive. We're just going to have them copied. So, just know that all of you are open anytime to come to our libraries, and we love you and want you to visit. And we're just really glad to answer any of the questions. So that's kind of my board report pretty quickly as far as everything. I am working on a safety security report, which is quite extensive. It's not quite done. And I'll present that. Actually, there's a presentation. Maybe we can do that in August. So.
I just have some minor questions with the report. The vacancies, is that system-wide or?
System. That's everybody. That's 5 libraries.
And when was the last time the library was closed on Sunday?
I don't know that. I just know it was. There's been people that have been here many years, and this is not the first time.
Gotcha.
I think, but I couldn't tell you when that was. I didn't ask them.
I had a question about the cause of the flooding in the Beluga room.
Mhm.
What was the cause and
Yes,
how extensive are
We
the
had-
damage and repairs?
we had from my understanding, we had a pipe that burst. We're not sure what happened, but it was adjacent to the Beluga room, and that's why we had that one assembly meeting with no air conditioning. We thought we were going to die. It shut down all of the air conditioning in the assembly part of the building. We're hoping that it's going to be done. Great, we're not meeting in July because it looks like that we hope to get it done in a month, but as you all know, construction parts, whatever. But yes, they're going to have to go through the wall in the Beluga room. So it's,
So they're
quite
gonna have to demolish stuff to correct it.
huh?
They're gonna have to demolish walls to correct it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I add a little factoid on what Judy just described about the vacancies? So as of April of this year, fully half of the positions that were vacant had been vacant prior to the partial hiring freeze that was instituted. And many of those positions had been vacant for well over half a year. For example, the 4 library peer navigators that were established in early 2021 had been vacant since they were created. The information center consultant position had been vacant for 4.5 years.
And we've been trying to hire that one. That's one we've been.
The library clerk position had been vacant for almost 2 years. 2 of the library assistant positions had been vacant for over a year. One of the 4 professional library positions had been vacant for almost a year, and another had been vacant for well over a year. And the library clerk position had been vacant almost 2 years. So I think it's just important, that's important data for the public to be aware of, that these vacancies, many of them, half of them, preceded the partial hiring freeze, and many of them had been vacant for multiple years. So
Can I was going to ask Judy this anyway, but maybe it's to you, I'm not sure. You both mentioned hiring freeze, and I realized that I've heard that before, but could either of you explain?
I'll let him explain it because I
I thought
didn't
that
think that might be better.
When was that and why was that?
So the partial hiring freeze was instituted by the mayor shortly. It was a partial temporary hiring freeze that was instituted shortly after he took office. I don't remember the precise date. And basically what it entailed was that, so there were a couple of departments that were exempted from it. It was APD, so the Anchorage Police Department, the Anchorage Fire Department, and seasonal employees were all exempted from it. Otherwise, what it basically meant was that all of the departments, when they had a position requisition, had to submit a memorandum explaining why this position was necessary to their department's operations. And I would say, for the most part, most of those positions were approved. The purpose was just to ensure that our taxpayer dollars were being used efficiently and effectively, and that any positions that had been vacant were necessary for municipal operations. And so having people go through the mental exercise of thinking about, why do I need this position? Why is it important for my department? Why is this important for the overall operations of the department and the municipality? We felt very helpful, and I've had to review all of them. And I can say that I believe it's been a very useful exercise for our folks.
I understand. So it wasn't, so thank you. I think that, so it wasn't because of a projected budget shortfall, and it wasn't just the library, it was to evaluate positions across the board except for the fire and police.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And that's because those were emergency services,
Sure.
right? We want to be very careful about that too, so.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question, please? Sure. So of all the library positions, since we're the library advisory board, were all those positions requested again? Even the ones that had been empty before or vacant?
No, I just gave that report. When I came here, there are, as of today, 3 positions that I have on any organizational chart I have that have not been hired. 3.
Okay, so to answer my question, you're saying that each one of the positions that were vacant, and as Mr. Shabaka said before,
As I've asked
every one of
them.
those has gone through this process that you're.
Yes, every one of them. I had to, yes. And I had to do some fast talking too sometimes because we have a lot in a lot of parts. So I had to do some, we wrote a reason why, justification. We had to give numbers and everything. So yeah, I took
How many of those have been approved?
all have been approved that I've asked for,
And you've asked for every one of them?
except for 3. If they're the ones that I had, so I counted and I've only got, there's one that was in youth services that they told me had never been filled, but I don't know why it's still on there. And I haven't requested that, neither has youth services. So if it's been requested by the department, there's only 3 that have been requested that I have not filled.
These positions, do they have, I know it's different organizations, they have large organizations, bureaucracy, they have PCNs, personnel control numbers.
Yes.
How many PCNs are assigned to the library? Anybody know?
I believe we have almost 90 people.
90 people.
It's 89 or I hear I could count them up, but I don't have that numbers, but it's about probably 89 to 90.
Are any of these PCNs no longer needed? They're just exist on
Probably.
paper?
Yeah. The one, yeah, there's a couple that I
Or
did.
maybe outdated from
Yeah.
prior to everything got automated or a lot of automation? Is there a chance those are gonna come off the PCN list?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
Dennis, I'm just trying to get, and then that's what we'll take a look at. Like I said, I look very closely at every position. I don't just say we're gonna hire somebody. I'm just not that way. I feel like we need to take a look at it, and we've had discussions about trying to schedule a little better and things like that. And so if they came and made a good argument with me, then I made one with, and I let them know, you've got to justify it, and then I will.
Judy, what
Most
were
of them did.
the last 3 hires?
Oh, the last 3 hires, they're all been librarian, no, library 3 assistants and libraries,
Okay.
professional libraries. That's about the only thing that we hire, whether it be part-time or full-time.
I have another question.
Sure.
Also, we had a question at our last meeting, and thank you very much for coming, because it concerned the hiring process. And so what is entailed in the hiring process? Does it go all through Judy, then to you, or is there a committee, or how is someone hired or vetted for a library position?
It's very cumbersome and typical. I mean, I can tell you.
Well,
that.
yeah, I'll let Judy talk about the,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, I'm wondering if that's a
Right.
bottleneck to getting more positions available.
well, I'll let Judy talk about the process the library is set up for represented employees and non-reps. For executives appointments, that's really up to how the administration wants to do them. Some people, sometimes you just interview a couple of people and just decide, I want to go with this person. But for represented employees and non-reps, the process is different. And so I'll let Judy.
Okay, and one of the issues that we had is that we had 10 people in what we call NeoGov. And they were, that means they put a requisition in and they request a job to do this. One of the things I've been going through with each one of these is that there are job descriptions from 2003, 2013, and they're not relevant, some of them. So I have been going through and changing the job descriptions to be relevant today and what they were. That has not been updated long, and he has too. His department's been helping me with that. And one of the things that we did do is, oh Lord, I just lost my train of thought. There's a requisition, and we were having, I didn't even know what jobs were being put in. No one knew where the requisitions. So I've kind of centralized that with Benedict, who is my, who helps me 25% of the time during the week. And she came from the fire department, and that's what she did, was Rex and NeoGov. So she's very familiar. So now that all goes through her, the reporting does, so that we shoot it out to we know exactly where it is. In other words, if I have a requisition and I have now a Excel sheet and I have all the requisitions, I have their titles, I know when they close. And when someone says, where's that requisition? I can tell them exactly. Because it was with 10 people putting stuff in, 9, 10 people, it was a mess. So we've come up with a system that I think that's why we're working so fast right now. We just kind of got it working really good. And so I did that. So we put when I put a requisition in, it goes to, it has to get 3 approvals. It has to be, I have to approve it as the requisition. It goes to Nikki Shabaka to be approved, and then it goes to Amy Dabowski to be approved. And at that time, it goes back to HR. And then they send out even the position description to be sure that this is what you want. They look at the old position, are there any minor changes you want? And I almost always have that department manager look at that with me and say, what do we need to change here? And so that goes to that person, then it comes out. It's very cumbersome. There's qualifications. And there's a job description. The minimum qualifications are you have to have a degree in this, you have to do this, that, but the job description really does it, says what the job actually does. So then when we want the applicants, that's a process too. If they're AMA union, they have to, we have to take them first and interview the union people first, okay? It depends on whether we have, it is very cumbersome, and they're working on it because it is. And so we go through all that process, and then, like all the library 1, 2, 3 assistants, they all, like Nancy's doing hers, all the managers do those. Usually all the professional 1 librarians, not always, but usually they're done by the managers. And I get involved on, librarians 2s and 3s in the non-reps in the higher levels, because I feel like that's, something we should get involved with. So that's kind of how it is. It just kind of, depends.
I've been in situations like that myself. So maybe I missed a loop in there, but are you doing all the interviews for the
No.
library, or do?
No,
managers-
they're all panned out different depending on what position, it depends on what the position is. I'm involved in a few, but the majority are done by the managers, like all the library assistants, all the professional 1 librarians.
Okay.
Almost all of them are done by the managers. Like right now, we've got, we had 2 interviews this week. We got 2 people hired, and that was Sarah, who's the acting in adult services, and Elizabeth did 1. They got 2 hired. And, Elizabeth and I and, Rayette in Mountain View are gonna do Linda Klein's position. I'm trying to bring, I'm also trying to involve, the branch managers a little bit more in that, because I think that they should be a little more involved in that.
I had one other question. This is kind of a policy and practice question. So you mentioned that sort of an ongoing problem with keeping positions filled and hiring are that so many positions are part-time. Sounds like that's been going on since God was young. Is there any particular reason why we should hold on to a practice of hiring part-time people that causes a situation where people don't want jobs that are part-time?
Well, first of all, we couldn't afford to hire everybody full-time that we have, because we have a lot of part-time. First of all, that would be a huge hit to the budget, and we don't need somebody 40 hours. Most of these part-time positions are like on call 4 to 19 hours a week when they need somebody. 18 hours, like we hired a woman today that just retired as a school librarian. She only wants to work 18 hours. And it's also very difficult to find sometimes, with library science. And usually if they are, they're people that want to work full-time. And we have a bunch of school librarians or retired librarians, and they only want to work part-time. We got hit this year, like we had 2 of our on-call that have been here for years. They decided to leave the state. And so that's kind of, right now, I think we're fine because we've caught up with everything. But I think that we did have a lot of, I know the 2 on calls had been here for a long time. They both left, gave 2 weeks notice. Well, when you give 2 weeks notice, it doesn't give much time to get someone else.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
if I could jump in, I think the Anchorage School District that I've worked for, employees, it's one of the largest employers, in the city. Maybe the largest, I don't know. I believe we are. We're having the exact same problems you are here at the library, exact same. So I don't think that the issues that you're bringing up are unique just to the public library.
People can't find it.
And I don't know, and I can't speak to the public sector, but I mean, we are desperate for labor. Teachers' aides to nurses to certified staff.
I hear you. My comment wasn't criticism. It was trying to be helpful. That if, every magazine that I subscribe to has articles now about the changing workforce and the, sort of confusion about how to get people into jobs and keep them in. And one of the issues that's often cited is, mobile workforces and flexible hours and all that kind of thing. So I'm just making a suggestion.
And we've looked at that.
To sort of keep that in mind, that no institution, a school district as well is going to keep happy employees if they're not
They're
relooking
not.
at how to do that.
We had 36 principals leave this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are.
I will respond to the fact that we are a service industry and we have to have people when our library is open. They don't have that flexibility that others might have. That's the big thing here. We are a face-to-face, and when we're open, our people are, for the most part, out in front of the face. And so we can be flexible with some of the part-times. Now, there are some positions like the one in IT that we just are not, and I talked to her, Celia just today, that maybe we need to look at making that a full-time, because you're not gonna hire an IT person at 30 hours when they can go get a full-time, so that is a discussion that we're having, but there's just a lot of different reasons why. But I think COVID has just caused a whole bunch of things in different ways.
We're all still there. Any other questions? Comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so, we added to the agenda a debrief about the, June 3rd special assembly meeting that I was invited to on June 2nd to attend. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to appear. What I'd like to do, as Nellie asked me to debrief, I think I'm perfectly valid that you should hear what went on. I'm assuming, by the way, that this was a recorded meeting. I think they all are. I looked for the recording. Is that right? I was gonna share a link with you, but I couldn't find it by the time I left. But anyway, so this was a special meeting of the assembly about the library. I was invited as chair of this board. Mary Rasmussen is the board president of Friends of the Library, and Tim Hayes was the board president of the Library Foundation. We all came on short notice and they asked to introduce ourselves. I'll talk a little bit more generally, but I thought maybe the best way for me to debrief my role there was I had a short statement. I will read it to you so that you know exactly what I said. I started by saying that I was quoting from the Municipal Code, and actually I almost think it would be given the opportunity to look at the code and what our responsibilities and duties are. But, we should sort of, like the Constitution, say this at the beginning of every meeting. It might help for us to kind of put our minds on the job. So the Municipal Code 4.60.040 says that the board shall act as the planning body in charge of all library activities of the municipality, including but not limited to operation of principal and branch libraries now existing or periodically established, mobile library services, special library projects such as radio and television. And it was written a while ago, but they actually mentioned this. And any and all other library functions. They're also to make recommendations to the administration and assembly for the adoption, change, repeal, or alteration of rules, regulations, restrictions on library services, and all other matters directly or indirectly affecting the municipal library program. That's our job. We are to perform such other powers and duties. Can the people online hear me? Yeah, okay. Perform such other powers and duties as the assembly may refer from time to time and review annually the budget, the library budget and its operation. So that's.
Wait a minute. I think that she's trying to reach, hold on a minute. Are you on, Denali? I just apologize. I said I'm trying to rejoin and I don't know what happened. Go ahead. Denali.
They're holding very still there. She's frozen.
Yeah, I think make an attendee. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. For some, it's on her end. It's not on mine.
If you kick her from the meeting and she has the opportunity to rejoin, that might fix it on her.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to try and, oh, it's her laptop, so she's trying to get back
Yeah,
on.
or text her to
Yeah.
leave and then. we can
Okay.
invite her.
Yeah, I, rejoin. I'll just tell her to rejoin when she can. I'll let her in. She got cut off. Okay, good. And she'll pop back up again, I'm sure.
The report you're going on over, the brief that you gave to the mayor, is that in the assembly meeting minutes from last week? I'm trying to read what you're about to read.
Is
Yeah,
something.
it was a special work.
It was.
I'm
a
gonna remove
special
her and then have her
session.
rejoin.
Is that document publicly available? Do you know where?
As far as I know, what I said was that I think the meeting itself. was
Oh, she has to
recorded,
leave.
so it should be there, but I also.
It's not the assembly meeting, the assembly work session.
Right. It was an assembly
Different, that's
work
different.
I recall in the city assembly meeting minutes at the end of their publicly available document was something that mentioned a conversation you had between the library and the mayor, but I don't. It was something you guys delivered to the mayor, and I wasn't sure if that's what you're talking
No.
about.
I referred to it later on here, but this isn't.
This is separate. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm curious. I know we received notification the day that we would met with the assembly. And at what point did some of the lab members formulate or discuss coming up with these ideas to present to the assembly? And I do understand that you presented this as an your independent opinion and differentiated and distance yourself from all the lab members, but I don't know. I'm a little uneasy that we weren't all invited to have a discussion and then craft a letter together. And receiving, information, hey, there's a meeting today. Just wanted to let you know, you could attend or you could watch it online, which I did watch it.
Yeah.
Online. I just feel like we were not notified in advance and that some of your opinions may not reflect the opinions of all lab members. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, were some of us excluded purposely or I don't understand how that all went down.
So how it went down is I got a call and said, would you attend a special session? Tell me again what it's called.
Work was a work session.
Work session. And I said, okay, and it came from Claire Ross.
So you crafted the letter that day?
No, the invitation
Okay.
came from Claire Ross. And I said, okay, I guess I'm not doing anything Friday at 2. And I did, actually, I haven't finished what I said.
You should read the rest of your statement.
But I could, but I sent it around to all of you folks.
The day of, I believe. Am I mistaken about that?
The day before, I meant to send it the day before.
I think it showed, I physically went to the work session. This is the problem. I physically went to the work session. I saw the email. Oh, this is going on. And I was late.
I think you sent it way late the day before. I think
And,
that's
or,
what I said.
the other thing, is not everybody checks their email constantly.
Right.
That's the other thing, especially if it's not their working, they're working. So I saw this like, oh, this is going on like right now or the next 5 minutes.
Right.
So I thought I should at least go see it. I'm not blaming you for the short notice, but I'm not saying it was on purpose. It was extremely.
I'm just asking too. I'm not accusing. I'm just curious.
It was short notice for you, it was short
It
notice.
sounds like it was short notice for you. as well.
Everybody, I think
But it
that's-
wasn't like a subpoena. They just invited you to speak, correct?
Yeah. As far as I know, they don't have subpoena power, but.
Well, give them time.
Yeah.
Sure they'll-
Yeah, give them time.
Give them time.
In any case, no, I was invited.
Appreciate the email.
I thought, I accepted the invitation basically, and I was happy to see that Mary Rasmussen and Kim were also invited as you know, this is kind of a triumvirate of different purposes and different responsibilities to keep the library going and going in the right direction. So I went in as invited, and frankly, let everybody know at the same time and as soon as I possibly could, getting that invitation. So, okay.
May I add one thing, Madam Chair? And I think just in response to you is that I think the purpose of it was to bring in the heads of the 3 different department or boards, foundation, Friends of the Library. And I don't know if any of them actually had time to all of a sudden get a meeting together. I think they were asking questions if you were listening in about what's going on in her report.
And they were concerned about the vacancies. And
Right.
well, her report was also, part of our regular meetings that we have, so. Anyway, I just want to say.
To continue, okay, so I start out by reading the code, and then said, and by the way, these were my verbal comments, but I wrote them down because that's the only way I can operate in front of the meeting of the assembly. Okay, so I said, in other words, beyond that simple but pretty broad scope of work, the Library Advisory Board gives advice on all things library. Quote, rules, regulations, restrictions on library services, like shutting down hours on Sunday, for instance, and all other matters directly or indirectly affecting the municipal library program. In addition to this advisory role, we are guided by all the other rules under Title IV, the Municipal Code regarding boards and commissions. We're also guided in terms of tasks and priorities by a variety of strategic plans. And then I held up our strategic plans as a visual aid, which, of course, the Library Advisory Board has been centrally involved in producing, since we are a planning board as well as an advisory board. So this is all rather dry, but we take our planning and advisory responsibility seriously. I think I can speak for all of us in saying that we are serious people with a serious purpose, and that is to help shape a library that is fully functional and fully committed to the library's three-pronged job, which is to provide education and skills for life, a bridge to information and resources, and third, building community so that we are accessible and useful to all community members. Quote, to connect Anchorage residents to each other, to build a more inclusive and accepting community. So, and by the way, we were given 3 questions that we thought the assembly would ask us. And one was to introduce ourselves, the other is what's your purpose? And the third is, given your role and responsibilities, what do you have to say about the current situation at the library? So given the role and responsibilities we have, I did take it upon myself to represent my own point of view in a memo to the administration and the assembly that we have not been able to perform these advisory functions regarding several issues because of lack of information. And I'll point out, I did say this out loud, I'll point out that I did not represent all members of the Library Advisory Board in that memo that's from me. Primarily, I'm concerned that there are critical issues affecting the library's ability to effectively serve our community, that inclusive and accepting community. For instance, we have a significant number of unfilled staffing vacancies. Also, there was a decision made recently to shut down Sunday hours at Lusac, and there's been a selection of a new library director. These are all critical, impactful issues that have been decided without the advice of the advisory board's knowledge or input. Madam Chairman, I said we are a bunch of bookworms. We start every meeting with board members with a question about what board members are reading and what they recommend. Our hidden agenda is not very hidden. We simply want to turn off our phones.
What is a cricket? I need to get that because there's no crickets here.
We simply, sure broke up the drama of my last line. We simply want to advise the administration and the assembly on all things having to do with the library, which is what the municipal code tells us to do. But we're seriously happy to do so because decisions are made without us. I think we could be much more helpful if we were given half a chance. So that was my formal statement. It pretty much reflects, as you pointed out, the memo I sent. It is, and actually, Mr. Tabaka, thank you, and Judy. I mean, I think some of these questions have been as fully answered as we can get right now. This was written several weeks ago when it just seemed to me that we were pretty much the last to know. The advisory board was not in any loop created to include us in the decision-making regarding very serious and impactful decisions. So that was my stance. In addition to myself, Mary Rasmussen and Kim Hayes were at the meeting and gave statements similarly about what their concerns were. And as bodies that are primarily functioning to increase the resources and funding for the library, they are concerned that some of their donors have felt that there's something shaky at the library and they don't want to fund the library, and they brought those concerns to the table as well. Let's see, who else was there? Gerald Hess, the ombudsman, also was invited. He reflected on employees that had come to him with issues. And then several employees, several ex-employees of the library were, came to the panel and were with their experiences at the library. So that was that.
And read somewhere too, there were employees that are supporting, you know, some of the decisions that are being made too. So it's, I don't know. I just don't want to see the library advisory board take a monolithic approach to some of these political issues that the assembly may have. And I don't want my name stamped on that personally, but I'm not speaking for anybody else here. But that's me personally. That's a concern.
Okay.
So you know, I'm tempted to write a response to the assembly and to Mayor Bronson, you know, to let them know that. And it's not personal, but I mean, we can't just, you know, illuminate things that are different or that trouble several members on this board without consulting the entire board.
I will say that I believe that in written and verbal comments, all I've ever done is ask for information.
I will also say this, that I don't know if the individuals who've been tasked with running the library have been given a fair shake. The superintendent we just hired for the Anchorage School District is 32 years old. Doesn't meet the minimum requirements to be a superintendent, is only taught a year and a half, has never been an administrator, and they're giving that kid a shot, that young man a shot.
I don't know how you're always not gonna get his.
So we'll see how he does, but I'm just saying.
Wait, I didn't hear what Judy said. What'd you say, Judy?
I don't believe he's going to get a waiver. He's not gonna get his superintendent's license. That's not gonna be.
Well, well, that's news to me because he's in leadership meetings and stuff now. That's, you know, I guess that's above my particular pay grade, but.
Something else. He's not gonna get a license with the state police.
Yeah.
Can I just say, let's keep to the library matters.
Yes, I
Thank
agree.
you. Thank you.
So, and as I mentioned before, I'm sure that there's a video attached to that meeting for. Did
Yeah,
anybody or anything else?
the work session, it was recorded.
Okay, so I just couldn't find it when I was looking for.
It's on there, yeah.
It's there. You
Part of
just
it's
gotta
missing,
dig
I
for
think.
it.
I think part of it's missing, is it not?
Yeah.
I watched it live
Okay,
because of your email. So that, I mean, that was helpful.
good. Any other questions about that, Judy?
Yeah, I would like to respond to the fact that I do know that at the last meeting, I did bring an Excel sheet and I did give a brief report about the job openings that we had. I had not had the time to dig in it like I did, but I told you that I would, and I did get it. So it's not that I had not responded. There's just a lot going on. And so it takes quite a bit of time to do something like that. And like I said, I did respond. I believe it's in the minutes. It should be the last meeting because I brought an Excel sheet when we were in Eagle River about the number of positions that we had available. I know that we have talked about the Sunday closing on several occasions. I did not know when it was going to happen, so therefore it was hard for me to inform anyone. I do know that it had been discussed. It had been discussed with the staff here, that we were still looking, that the mayor was still looking at it. Just don't know. Like I said, I know that I talked to him several times and the decision had not been made, so the mayor will have to respond with that. So I do think that I did respond. I think that I'm going to say that I think that we all know the meeting was about me. And so I'm sorry about that. But I do want to make a comment about Jacob Cole, who on the newspaper called me a racist. And that was very hurtful to me. And happens not to be true, but I just wanted to make the statement publicly that it's amazing that he called me a racist, yet he gave me as a reference on both of his job applications, one of which he received. And so just think that people need to know that, because it's something I thought, wow, so you think I'm a racist, but you gave me as a reference. And so, you know, people can be upset about different things, what they're unhappy about. And I'm really sorry that he felt that way. Change is hard, but I don't think that I have created a hostile environment. And I think if you ask the majority of people around here, I haven't given any demands to anyone. I haven't thrown any books off the library shelf. I get accused all the time. There's not one book missing on this library shelf. I have looked at books because I've had complaints about them and they've gone back on the shelf. So, you know, I think that maybe we just need to start anew. I'm not going anywhere. We have a new director coming in. I've had a lot to learn, and I've learned from some great people. There's some wonderful, wonderful people in this library, some of the smartest people I've ever been around. And, but I have been asked, I was asked by the mayor to take this position for a reason. And the mayor has a right to make changes and put who he wants in. Wasn't a popular decision. The mayor being elected wasn't a popular with a lot of people, most certainly the people that testified against me. And you know what's going on between the assemblies. So, you know, it's very hurtful. I try to be respectful of everyone. I don't have to agree with you to be respectful. And I just, and I've had to be very quiet because I'm very limited about what I can say and cannot say. And I just think we need to all respect everyone. I don't have to agree with you to be respectful. But I just want everyone to know that it's not been an easy situation for me. Actually, it's been one of the toughest jobs in my entire career that I've ever had. As far as the complaints against me, there is not a written complaint in HR because I called and asked. There has not been one grievance filed against me. And the ombudsman, there's not a written thing that he did. And so, but I was accosted and attacked by reporters, and all the situation that happened with all of that happened when I was out of state. So there's just a lot of things going around, but know that I'm in a position that I have to be very careful what I say because I'm an employer and I can't say anything. You can ask Nikki, the most frustration I have is the fact that oftentimes I can't defend myself. But you know, like I said, I'm sorry that those people feel that way. I'm really sorry Jacob felt that way because Nikki can tell you I did everything I could to get him to get this job. I wasn't on that interview committee, but I gave him a good reference. And so I'm sorry that people felt that way because it most certainly was not how I meant him to feel. So I just wanted to say that. I'm a big girl. I'm pretty tough, but boy, you want to talk about some hurtful things coming from a segment of the community? You don't know anything. I have the phone calls recorded. I'll be glad to play for you. So that's my point. We need to work together to make this library good and better, and maybe we can clear all the air and move forward. So that's what I'm hoping. So I just want to say that.
May I ask a question? I don't know if it's my place to ask a question
No.
or not. I don't know how this works.
Sure.
Ms. Eldridge,
Yes.
you had mentioned that you're kind of limited with what you're able to say, that, you know, that you're in a precarious position.
Mhm.
May I ask what the mayor asked you to do when he gave you this position? Like, I know.
He asked me to
maybe
take,
there's-
he asked me to manage the librry.
Well, so the reason I'm asking is it sounds like, as with many things in the city of Anchorage, there's a bit of a money problem just kind of going around. Are you maybe being asked to address that, or what were you asked?
No, I was asked to, I have a lot of experience. Don't have a library science degree, but I'm a manager. You know, the CEO of Providence isn't a doctor. And I keep reminding people that, well, but that was a big thing that I didn't have a library science, but I'm very good at managing. The first person he put over here was not confirmed. And so he put me over here to step in and to run the library. And that is what I've tried to do. It's not the first time I've done things like this, so that's what I was asked to do, and I work at the direction of the mayor.
Do you have any specific goals, and if so, what are they?
Sure, I want all, my specific goals, I look at the strategic plan, and I know that the mayor looked at the strategic plan, and it's very much the same. I want all sides represented, in the library. That's one thing that's very important to me. I know that, there's a lot of, statements about, being inclusive, but I will tell you something that I told Claire Ross when I first met her, because I didn't take her job, it's another job. Diversity is more than the color of your skin, your lifestyle. It's also the color of your thought. And I perhaps do not see my thought and my culture, my family represented. So I want to be sure that all sides are represented. Everything is represented. And I think that's been like, that's all I was gonna ask. Yeah, that's
May I talk to you after the meeting?
I'm probably gonna go home. It's been a long day. Thank you.
Okay.
You're calling me and you can, not tonight. Okay.
Board comments and adjournment. Any members wish to have a comment?
I like to say something.
Yeah.
I guess I'm echoing what a lot of people say, maybe on different sides. I think there's been a lot, the reality is, I think in the city of Anchorage, there's been a lot of political animosity going back and forth. Be that as it may, this is a library, and it's a public building. I want the people of Anchorage to be able to access the building and do so in a safe manner. That's one of my concerns about the library. A woman was stabbed here about a month ago.
No,
Why?
3 months.
3 months ago. And then there's another incident not too long ago, which is probably not under
Every
anybody's
day.
particular control. But as far as that goes, I don't want to see books taken off the shelves. I don't want to see censorship. I would like to see books maybe placed in appropriate sections or venues. But other than that, I think we're here to help give guidance and help whatever guidance is needed to help run the library. I'd like to see some things improve or some old collections come back. Maybe you can add some new stuff with the collection. That's all. I think Miss Elledge has become a convenient target for a lot of things. Some, I think, are probably inappropriate and directed at other people other than her. She is an employee. That event, that special work session, looked more like an inquisition in some aspects to me. Not all, but some. There are legitimate concerns, I think, from some people and some of the other organizations that support the library. I think there's some information that hadn't been spread out or hadn't been received. I'd like to see that rectified. The other thing is, I think the library needs to function so it meets its budget, doesn't become a drag on the municipality, but the people can still use it and use it safely. And that's my final comment.
Thank you, Dennis.
Anybody else? No? Like a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
Okay, eat some good. Eat some good.
I'm gonna get some food.
6:47.
Oh, did your wife cook it home?
Typically, this board doesn't meet in July and recognizes that
Fishing
it's
school.
time for a break.
I'm
Fish-
trying to get everything ready for the new guy, so.
And we're all busy
Yeah.
and it's summertime in Alaska, so
I need 2 days off,
propose
Nikki.
that we July
Too
and
many.
is, the rumor had it that the new director would be here in early August. Is that still?
He's supposed to start August 1st, correct? I think he's going to be here, maybe come in and meet and stuff. So I'm going to set up a meeting with you before we have the next
Okay.
meeting. Okay?
So
So maybe he can come he will be here for the next meeting.
The August.
Which is
In
August
August.
17th.
He will be, yeah, he'll be here by then. So we'll,
When's our next meeting?
August 17th.
Is it here or in,
It's here, we were thinking of flipping it from here, but Judy recommended that we have.
if you're gonna be here, I think we should be here.
And then we'll just move Girdwood meeting up and
yeah, September. That's pretty, yeah, because I want him to come to that meeting. So
Yeah.
take on one of these jobs. Mhm. Not yet. Alice is the only person here.
Bye, Alice.
Bye, Alice.
Bye. Have a great summer. Thank you all for the time.
And you too. Bye-bye. She's such a sweetheart. I love